Hello, hello. Can anybody hear me? Just check the levels are okay. Thanks, Catface, in the chat for alerting me to the fact that my microphone wasn't working. But yeah, hopefully you can hear me now. So yeah, greetings everybody who's joining us. Ah, cool. Hey everybody. I'm going to cover the Winds of Awesomeness bundle by Embertone. No better reason really than it's going off sale soon. It'll be no longer available for 70% off, and you won't be able to get it at that price, but I believe it's still on offer for the next 24 hours or so. So if you do fancy picking it up, now's a good time. I am covering this really because I have a special affinity with Embertone, and over the years I've done several walkthrough videos for them. I've demoed their products. I've used lots of their products in lots of my own writing, the winds, the strings, all sorts of things like that. And yeah, I think it's a really good deal. Basically, it's been a couple of years since I've used some of these products. These are all the ones that I'm going to cover here. I did the demos for Jubal Flutes, Shire Whistle, Ocarina. Not the Charmer. I did the Mouth Trumpet. I did the Crystal Flutes, not the Clarinets, and not the Recorders. But yeah, over half of those I did the walkthrough videos for. Thank you very much to Embertone for getting me involved with those. And yeah, I'm pretty familiar with them, although, as I say, it's been a couple of years until I've gone back and had a look at those demo videos, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. I think you might be having quite a good laugh at my my wind playing skills here. I'm just going to do everything on the keyboard. I've got a complete control keyboard, 88 keys. Some of these instruments have touch OSC capabilities. I know certainly the clarinet does. I think maybe the recorders as well. I'm not sure. Well, you could run them all with touch OSC if you wanted to, but I'm just going to be playing them with my fingers, not with any wind controllers or anything. They probably sound a lot better with wind controllers, but I still think they sound pretty good just playing them on the keyboard, and that's how I compose, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, just waiting for a few more people to join us. I know Sample Logic, what am I talking about? Audio plugin deals kindly put out a little email shout out to a few people to see if anybody wants to watch me making a fool of myself. I don't tend to do too many of these live streams. I've got two monitors. I'll be looking at this one, but I've got another one off to the side, which if I need any help on the manuals or anything, because as I say, it's been a couple of years since I used these, then I'm gonna ask for help from the manuals. So let me just check in with who's here. Matthew, Catface, Michael. Matteo says, I would need the crystal flutes. The other instruments of the bundle will be a nice addition, but not strictly necessary. For $20 just for the flute, or $89 for a bunch of instruments I'll probably never use. I'd be surprised if you never use them, especially the Shire Whistle, or whatever it's called. What's it called? Yeah, the Shire Whistle. That creeps into a lot of things I do. So yeah, we'll see. So I want to be guided by you lot, really. What you want to hear, and what you want to hear more of, articulations here and there, that sort of thing. I was going to start with the clarinet because it's lovely. Well, I think it's lovely. So, what am I playing with here? I've got vibrato on the mod wheel. Oh, before I start this, don't forget, if you do want to pick up this offer, go through to the video description. There's a link that I've put there. You can go straight to the audio plugin deals page, and you can pick it up there. So, loads of reverb on that. Somebody requesting a drier sound. Yes, I will go 100% dry. There's a built-in reverb. I've got vibrato on the mod wheel, I've got dynamics on my foot pedal. There's also flutter and multi. I've never really been too sure what multi does. It says in the manual it's a technique used by clarinetists to achieve more than one tone at a time, and it introduces interesting sets of harmonics. So yeah, that is supposedly the case. I mean, I can assign that, and it's basically a sort of an overtone, that sort of thing. Probably only sounds good with a bit of reverb. Anyway, I'm going to turn that off because I really don't know how to use that. Flutter's on the aftertouch by default, but I'll show you how you can reconfigure things if you want to. Goes really high, this clarinet. High enough for the sample hound to hear it. Okay, those are the sustains. You've got key switches on the bottom here, and they handle the switching into trills, the shorts as well. And there is a trill articulation that you can just choose, but I like to play it in with the key switches. Nothing wrong with that clarinet at all. I love it. It's kind of emotive. It's the sort of thing that gets used all the time in solo contexts. I mean, I've got the Berlin clarinet. That's pretty good as well. And a couple of other ones, but really this one and the Berlin one, they're the ones that I tend to go for. So other stuff on the interface, you can do polyphonic playing if you want to. Oh, loads of people chatting on the on there. Please turn off the reverb. I think it sounds nice with the reverb though. Doesn't clarinets and oboes and flutes, they sound a bit boring without the reverb? I thought so. So yeah, that's polyphonic mode. You can do solo, you can do ensembles, and then this is the ensemble creator where you can choose the number of players. This is all virtual, of course. It's detuned and timing changes, that sort of thing. So one player, you could do 2 at either end of the room if you adjusted the panning. But you've got pitch adjustments there. This is basically the randomization of the pitch, the timing, and chaos, which again, checking in the manual, I'm not precisely sure what it does, so I don't want to waste anybody's time while I go into one tiny little detail, but it's there anyway. It's another humanization element. Lots of playing in C minor today. I like the ensemble, but I think it's the solo where it really shines. The other option on the page here is configuration, so you can change the key switches for whatever you want, really. You can move those around and you'll see them change colour on the keyboard. I'm going to completely mess it up now, but yeah, you can see there how that works. You've also got vibration speed and vibrato speed and vibrato depth as well. By default, they're both assigned to the mod wheel, but you could assign those separately if you wanted to. So you could do, let's stick one on the foot pedal and get rid of the dynamics from the foot pedal. See how that works. little bit more control there, but the way Embertone have set it up originally I think is pretty good. Is there any way to map these articulations how Sinner Samples does? Shorts by default, legato on sustain pedal. Pass. I don't know actually. Because the mapping there is only by key switch, I think you might have to do some filling about with articulation switching with another program. But yeah, that's I don't think it's possible straight up there. Maybe you could do it with the OSC involved. I don't know. I'm not going to say yes because I really don't know on that one. Sorry, Matthew. So yeah, that's the Heron clarinet. There's also a light version of the patch, which is this one. To me it sounds exactly the same, but I have 40-year-old ears, so I probably don't know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to that. So it's just a bit smaller in terms of memory footprint. It's only about half a gig. C minor is key of the day for me for some reason. So yeah, that is the majority of the clarinet. I want to whiz through these because there's 9 instruments to get through. Yeah, some are more complicated than the others, but Vincent's joining us. Hi, Vincent. I don't want to dwell on things for too long unless there's anything particularly that you want to hear. Next instrument to demo, the Charmer. This seems to be the most original. Alright then, let's do the Charmer. Where is it? Here. I hate having loads of instruments all in one instance of contact. It's not my favourite way to work, but I thought this was a good way to be able to whiz around. So this is like a kind of a Snake Charmy reed sort of. And to play it properly, I'm going to have to play some sort of stereotypical Arabic. The Cheats way, playing it all on the black notes. So that's with this stage configuration on. The legato, the shorts. Sounds like an old Bontempi organ without any effects on. Sounds like a harmonica. Yeah, well, it depends how you play it, doesn't it? I am not a expert in this kind of playing. Drone notes on the bottom. It's basically a copy of the top octave, as far as I can tell. There's also ornaments, which you can hear if you press very hard. That's at the highest velocity. That's the major ones. And minor as well. And you can sort of do a fake round robin thing as well. Borrows notes from next door. Moves them around. What is the difference between the two blue zones on the keyboard? You know what? I did try and have a look at this when I originally got it, and I never bothered to really work it out. But let's have a little look, shall we now? The Charmer. Does it even say in the manual? I think it's just 2 zones for playing through. Doesn't say in the manual. What it does say is that you can play at different velocities and you get different transitions, so that's something I remember and something that I do like. So that's very low velocity. You get a slur, and the higher velocities you get a straight legato transition. A and at the top end you get a major or minor ornament. Of course, you can change all those on the key switches from major to minor. You can hear my very heavy keyboard, I'm sure. Sorry about that. I'll try and play a bit lightly. Did you already test the shy whistle? Nope, I didn't, but I will do that one next for you, Vincent. Anyway, that's the Charmer. Not sure that I've used it more than a couple of times in compositions, but it certainly does the job if you need that kind of thing. So, shy whistle. This is the next one, as requested by Vincent Lavaney. Hey, Vincent. I remember with this one, there are several different versions of the whistle, just in terms of the vibrato. So there's 4 different ones: Braveheart vibrato, finger vibrato, normal and slow. I've got the normal one loaded up, but I'm quite happy to play the other ones as well. I mean, it works in the same way as the Charmer and the ocarina and the Jubal flute to a certain extent. And I love this. I've used this on several tracks. So it's the same as the Charmer because you get a vibrato on the mod wheel. Just turn that stage off for a minute. Got dynamics on the foot pedal to a certain extent. Quite difficult to play dynamically with the physical shy whistle anyway, because you've got to blow a certain way to get it to make any tone at all. I heard they went to the Shire to sample the whistle and didn't give Bilbo any royalties. Too right, Bilbo Baggins is doing alright. He's got all those rings. Well, he's got one. That's legato. Staccato is like this. And you've got polysustains as well. Doesn't go that low. But yeah, the legato is my favourite. There's Braveheart vibrato, which I like a lot. And if you play very softly, you get that sort of glide. That's cool, isn't it? I like that a lot. I remember it being quite a cheap library when it came out. I think it was about $20, $30, something like that. Probably still is. But when you put all these libraries together, I think it's excellent value, especially the clarinet. The clarinet was more than $89 anyway when it first came out, and now you can get all these extra ones for that kind of price. So, what do people want to hear next? Saxophone. This saxophone is just hilarious. It's great, but it is hilarious. I need to load it as well from its first incarnation, because it comes up with this. Look, warning: do not abuse the sex knob. I never abuse anyone's sex knobs, but I will on this occasion. So this is the same kind of thing as those whistle and the Charmer, but the knob in the middle is just brilliant. Basically, it's operated by the mod wheel, or I mean, you can operate it by anything if you want. You can put it on the foot pedal, but with the legato, it adds sex. We like sex. And what is it? It adds big reverb, adds more ornaments. Makes it more kind of crazy neon 80s sound. So without any sex, it's like this. Michael Clark. I have that one. As silly as the interface is, it's an awesome sounding sax. It is an awesome sounding sax because you can do the sex. What about that? That is proper sexy. Can I remember how to play Careless Whisper? I don't think I've ever played it. Hang on, that's not Careless Whisper, that's Baker Street, isn't it? Name that tune. Chapman Trumpet should have a sex knob too. Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? I have the Chapman Trumpet, but it's not in this offer, unfortunately. So you can do fake round robins with that key. The info there is just a load of blab about how the sex knob works. You've got staccato, articulation, and polysustain. Woo! And staccato as well. I could play with this all day, and I've recently been writing an 80s track, which I'm going to get a vocalist to sing for me, and I was going to get an actual saxophonist. I've been listening to a lot of the Midnight and stuff recently, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just use this. It would be brilliant, right? Okay, that is a sensual saxophone. I might come back and play a bit more of that later because apart from the whistle and the clarinet, I think that's one of my most favourite ones. Vibrato can be controlled as long as you adhere to a grain-free diet for at least 7 days. Thank you, Mikey. Any serious questions for me? I'm quite happy to sit here and talk about Bilbo Baggins and saxophone sex, but that's not the point. I've come on here to help you guys and see if I can demo these to your satisfaction. What should we do next? I like the ocarina as well. That's a good one. The ocarina is super simple. There's no ornaments or anything as far as I remember, but it's got a good little legato. I'll just give you a raw idea of how that sounds. But the stage is where it's at. I think I remember when Embertone did the demo for this, there was some sort of Zelda thing. Do, 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 do. How does that go? Do, 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 do. Something like that. Any Zelda fans here? Poly mode and mono mode and fake round robins as well. It's a tiny little instrument, look, 24 megabytes, but how cool is it? Vibrato on the mod wheel. Specific version of contact required. Let me look, actually. Heron Clarinet says 5.3.1. You do need the full version of contact for all of these, I forgot to say. But yeah, Heron Clarinet 5.3.1. Is that the most recent one that came out? Might have been the recorders, actually. Let me see what the recorders need. Because basically, if you can run the recorders, you should be able to run the rest. 5... Does it say? 5.3.1. So yeah, you can should be able to run them all on 5.3.1 and above. I hope that answers your question. Let's have the... Alright then, we're going to have the mouth trumpet. This is an instrument that I did the... I originally did the demo walkthrough for Embertone, and it's completely ridiculous. But I have to say, I've used it in a couple of tracks for a series about junk hunting, you know, like one of those storage hunter kind of things. I have used it for that because it's got a very kind of fake trumpety noise. It's the actual sound is a trumpet player blowing without a trumpet, like as if he was making a trumpet sound, but he isn't. He doesn't have a trumpet, as far as I'm aware. Might even say that on the help. Took the brass. Anyway, whatever it is, it's something like that. So it's a kind of a brassy noise, but it's somebody's spit and phlegm. Look at that animation. That is disgusting. So by default, it's set up for legato playing. You've got vibrato on the mod wheel and dynamics as well. Ornaments are played at high velocity. You've got slurs at low velocity. And you can switch the ornaments between major and minor. There's also a reverb option. Sounds much better with reverb, I think. And then if you use the aftertouch, you've got flutter. It's assigned to 14, CC14, which is aftertouch. Can you hear that? Vibrato and dynamics on CC1 by default, but obviously you can change all of these if you want to. There's also slur on CC64, but you can trigger that automatically with key switches. All the key switches are here, and again, they can be changed. So legato on C2, staccato C sharp. Polysustains. Scoop. I have to remember how to use scoop. I think you can do it in legato mode. It basically will do an up or down glissandi, depending on what keys you press. It will go from the first note to the second note. So you do scoop, first note, second note. Scoop, first note, second note. So it will bend into that note. You can adjust the ornament and the slur velocities. You can also force a slur by doing F sharp 2 or whatever you assign it to. Starting to sound rather weird if you do that all the time. And then you can also do legato into a staccato. Like that. You can make an ensemble out of this if you so wish. And you can also change the humanization of the ensemble. And you can add mouth noise, so spit and phlegm and disgusting noises. I think when I was doing my demo, not my demo, using this for the storage programs. I did use a lot of the mouth noise stuff because it was a very kind of close kind of like that. Came in very useful. Oh, loads of people watching now. They've crept in while I've been doing the mouth trumpet. Oh my goodness. The mouth trumpet is not a prime example of what this collection of instruments is all about, but it is a cool little thing, and yeah, as I say, I have used it in the past. Let's get on to one of the bigger libraries. This is the recorders. And so this is 5 different recorders that have been recorded. Similar kind of options to the Herring clarinet and a couple of the other instruments, but you can do a number of different things with the recorders. You can actually, first of all, you can access all 5 of them from the one interface. There's not 5 different patches. I'll show you what the patches are. Where's they? Oh, there we go. So it's just one patch. So you can play the bass recorders, and they're all on different ranges. They're the shorts. Hang on, I'm going to need my foot pedal again. Major and minor trills. Major and minor, or you say a tone and a semitone. It's probably more accurate. So they're the basses. You've got the tenors. The altos. If you want to hear without reverb, I can do that. Nice and clean. Doesn't sound anything like the recorder I used to play at school. I was terrible at that. The sopranos. Up it goes. What else have I got? The soprananinos. This is very high. Watch out, cats and dogs. Much quicker than you could actually play. So you can load one at a time. You can load all of them up, which just sort of layers the patches on top of one another. But it has a more intuitive mode than that. Just show you that you can actually adjust the panning as well. Panning and levels for each of the sections. But that's if you load them up all together. But there's a combine mode, which basically loads up a pre-rendered, well, as far as I'm aware, it's a pre-rendered patch, which makes imagine like one long recorder. So you can play right up the scale. So that's pretty nice. The configuration page has your controller adjustments, key switch adjustments. They're a little bit nicer on this, I think, than some of the other instruments. It is a more recent instrument. You don't have to worry about drop down menus. You'll literally just see the controller keys change like that. You can also turn on and off the ornaments, set the velocity thresholds for the portamento. You can hear that nicely. And velocity ornaments are at the top end. Pretty nice. So you can also adjust the vibrato speed as well. And a couple of other options there that I'm not going to go into because I can't remember exactly what they do. Let's be honest here. So they're the recorders. It's one of the more recently released instruments from Embertone, and it, I think, again, was more than $89 when it first came out. So the fact that you can get that and the clarinet and a whole bunch of other stuff for $89, that is good money. That is a good deal. So what haven't I tried yet? Oh my god, I'm dying to play that saxophone again. Just one. Just give me a hit. Sorry, I couldn't couldn't resist playing that. What have I got left? The Jubal flute. It's another nice little simple one. Is this the last one I'm finishing with? Possibly. I do want to know whilst I'm playing this, you guys that are watching live, if there's anything else you want to hear or any questions you want answered. I might be able to answer them, I might not. We will see. But yeah, the Jubal flute. Let's go for that. I can always go back to the other instruments. Please make me go back to the saxophone. I love that one. So this is a wooden flute. And that was a terrible playing of it. I remember this one. I did the demo video for it. It's nice and dry. Bone dry, this one. So you could really mix that with your own sort of instruments and your own convolution reverb. It's got polysustains, also legato. Rather nice. A couple of key switches on the bottom end to control that. But basically I think the legato mono is the best way to play this. Isn't that nice? So those are the 9 instruments you get with the Winds of Awesomeness bundle from Audio Plugin Deals, which is basically a cipher for Embertone. And they're 70% off. You get it for $89. You can see there above me. So if you want to pick those up, do so. Oh, more questions coming in now. You can find the link on the Samplecast live page, or you can find it underneath the video in the description. Question is, I'm a fan of the band Morphine. How low can the sax go? Well, it can go that low. So that's pretty normal, I think, range for normal sax. But if you wanted to, you could pitch it down to wherever you want, I suppose. Is that low enough? That doesn't sound too bad. I was expecting it to sound really wonky when he pitched it down. Sounds wonky when you pitch it up, though. Quite like that pitch down a few tones. Oh, it's quite film noir, isn't it? Not supposed to play it like that. Sorry, Embertone, but I don't care. Sounds rather cool. I forgot to mention actually. There's a couple of other ones of the sax instruments. You get three, something like that. There's a PG version. What's the difference? I do remember looking into this when I was doing that tune. Documentation, Central Sax. It's the sexiest sax around. Patches. The main concept is the normal one. PG if you're showing the instrument to your 8-year-old nephew. Oh yeah, because it doesn't say sex on the knob. How ridiculous. And the other patch is style buttons. If you're looking for more control, this is your patch. The main knob controls effects only. The straight and essential buttons separate normal and jazzy samples. Oh yeah, I remember that. So you can do just normal playback with a straight up sax tone. Without loads of ornaments, but Essential has the ornaments. That is a cool feature, and I forgot all about that. Sorry, everybody. But yeah, there's a lot to delve into in this pack. I think it's about 10 gigs in total in this bundle. And definitely worth picking up in my opinion. As I say, you've got a couple of days, actually one day to get hold of it. So hurry up if you want to do that. Links in the description below. And I'm going to have a quick little blast on the clarinet at the end here. Once it's loaded. I've got it on an SSD, but I've also got 100 things streaming, so might take a little while to get going. Don't forget you can catch me every week, well almost every week, on the Samplecast, thesamplecast.com. It's the weekly YouTube show and podcast for sample library geeks and plug-in fans and enthusiasts. And for those people that want a bit less reverb. Someone asking for a faster run. I presume that's on the clarinet. It sounded a bit like I can't play that properly. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean. So anyway, that's the Herring clarinet. Cool. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Unless there are any more questions, I'm going to shoot off. I need to put the sample hound to bed. As I say, don't forget to pick this up if you want to. One more day left on the offer. Head to the link in the description below. And thank you for joining me. Thank you for all the questions. I hope it was interesting. And drop me an email or a tweet or a Facebook if you want me to do more of these. If I have time in the evenings, because it's about 9 p.m. No, nearly 10 p.m. here. Then I'm happy to do them. I have a lot of sample libraries, as you can probably guess from what I do on the show. Thanks to Morgan. Thanks to Mike. Thank you for your input. And I will see you again next time. Bye bye now.